Hello, everyone. It's me. And today we're going to be looking at the King in action. King Charles, I can't get used to calling him King Charles. My first reaction whenever I see him is to call him Prince. For my entire life, he's been Prince Charles. And so to call him King Charles now is really a difficult, and it's an awkward thing to do. If I ever in the unlikely event I ever meet him, I'm just going to say Prince Charles and screw everything up. But here we are, and we have to give a shout out to the Royal Family Channel, and so we're getting this straight from the horse's mouth, not Camilla, of course, all the horse face herself. So here we go. Let's have a look and see what's what. It's such a dirge, isn't it? Look at it. When you look at that man, you just look at privilege. His entire life has been privilege. And that's not to say they don't, work for a living. You said you can have all the money in the world and you've got to devote, 3/4 of a year to, travelling all over the place, meeting people you'd rather not speak to. I'd say no thanks. It's a big British gun. So here he is. This is the king. This is the king in action. He's walked to a cannon and he sat down at a cannon. Oh, he understood the fire command, that's for sure. And there he goes, job done. The king in action. Bit of a replay now. Being steeped in the military tradition, of course, he waits for the proper procedure to unfold. And of course, being a professional royal, he shows appropriate interest. But in all fairness to him, he does, look genuinely interested, and he always seems happiest when he's around military people. So watch him break a £20,000 drum. Now that is a short officer. They're well turned out, aren't they? I mean, say what you want about the army and their role, they're really well turned out. So that was the king in action. And I'm not a royalist. I don't wish them any ill. I don't want to see them hung outside the gates of Parliament or whatever. I just wish that they would go away and live their privileged lives in happiness, and we didn't have to subsidise them so much. And there's the whole argument that they bring in more in tourism than they do the amount we cost them. But I think those figures have been in dispute for a very long time, but it's difficult to get down to the actuality of it. And even though I'm not a royal, I heard a story a while ago about Prince Charles visiting a hospice from somebody who I know very well. And during the visit, he did his royal duties, hello, all that kind of thing. And at some point, he was then asked or he knew he was going to speak to some of the patients. And these patients are all terminally ill. They're all cancer patients, and they are going to die at some point. And he walked down this long corridor with a couple of his aides. I'm not sure if the cameras were present, but the staff could see him from where they were sat next to the bed. And he starts chatting to this old woman. And during their little chat, he then reaches over, unsolicited, grabs her hand, and really engages her in conversation. So, as I've said previously, say what you want about the royals, but that moment of humanity that Charles showed to that patient was frankly priceless. And the person who told me about this story spoke about it with great warmth and a genuine sense of reverence, I suppose, that somebody who's so, socially high would take the time out and visit these patients, but not just visit them, but do it so respectfully. I think that's worth a great deal. And if you want to show pictures of Charles in action, maybe we should show more of that and less of the, military thing. Anyway, that's me signing off. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.